Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is July the 10th, 2025. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Today has been a good day. Work went fine, no problems, no complaints, not too busy. After work, we went to the gym, as is tradition. Gym went well. We got a good pump in, hit all the equipment that we wanted to hit. So, everything was good. Everything was irie today. No food corner, nothing extra. We just, had our typical energy drink and some chippies, and that was about it. Nothing wild, nothing crazy. So yeah, I'm excited to just, have a nice stock day. I do not mind a good old normie Thursday. It's my favorite day of the week anyway, so that's all you really need, right? So yeah, not much on the personal news tip to really talk about. Let's go ahead and do our startup, and we can get into some news. All right. First story comes from the Associated Press. Trump tariffs goods from Brazil at 50%, citing witch hunt trial against country's former president. President Donald Trump signaled out Brazil for import taxes of 50% on Wednesday for its treatment of its former president, Jair Bolsonaro, showing that personal grudges, rather than simple economics, are a driving force in the U.S. leader's use of tariffs. Trump avoided his standard form letter with Brazil, specifically tying his tariffs to the trial of Bolsonaro, who is charged with trying to overturn his 2022 election loss. Trump has described Bolsonaro as a friend and hosted the former Brazilian president at his Mar-a-Lago resort when both were in power in 2020. Now, we've talked about Jair Bolsonaro before. He's been known as the Trump of the tropics. So they really are birds of a feather. They get along very candidly. So in a lot of ways, this is not surprising to see Trump act like this and carry on like this. It's just so hypocritical in the face of a person who spent his whole campaign talking about how, the Biden administration, the government has been weaponized against him. Everything is being overly politicized and all this bullshit. And then when he's back in power, that's exactly what he does to people in the country and then, people outside of the country. It is a crazy ass fucking tactic. And it's not rooted in also another thing that he's campaigned on, which is fucking common sense. Like, there's no real rhyme or reason to this. There's no economic ties that make this make any fucking sense at all. It's just, hey, you guys are fucking with my boy, and I don't like you guys' style. You guys are like communists or whatever, which they're not. But essentially, like, according to Trump, they're way too left, and they hate his boy, so they gotta eat this. They gotta eat this tariff. Now, Brazil has responded with retaliatory tariffs. I think a lot of the talk, I haven't really dug too far into this as of yet, but it seems like coffee is being touted as one of the things that could really hurt and go up in price due to these tariffs, which I hate as a, coffee enjoyer, person who drinks coffee damn near every day. To see something like that potentially go up is does not sound good. Now, I mean, this could just easily be tough talk, but I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I think when Trump said, okay, we're calling it down, we're doing an extension, we're waiting, I think everyone breathed a sigh of relief and we're like, okay, so we're walking back, from the brink. Things are going to be okay. This trade war shit's not going to be as blown out as we thought. That being said, how many deals has he really made? that have actually like remedied any of these tariff woes that we have. Not many. And in fact, it's all kind of gone up from that 10% universal. A lot of countries are facing anywhere from up to like 17 plus percent. So things are not boding well for anyone in these tariff wars. And essentially the new deadline that's being set is August the 1st. Let's see here. I guess I'll read a little bit more here. Let me scroll ahead. Lula responded, which is Luis da Silva. Also in my thumbnail, you got Trump there. You got Luis da Silva up there as well. Lula responded in a forceful statement that said Trump's tariffs would trigger the country's economic I cannot say this word. That's kind of funny. I can't say reciprocity. Oh my God, I'm cooking myself. I can't say it. Whatever. Moving on, which allows trade, investment, and intellectual property agreements to be suspended against countries that harm Brazil's competitiveness. He noted that the U.S. has a trade surplus of more than $410 billion with Brazil over the past 15 years. Let's see here. Now, Bolsonaro hasn't commented on it, but he has said that he is being politically persecuted. And it's like, dude, okay, man. All right. You tried to, like, throw a fucking revolt, bro. He tried, like, because we covered that as well. The whole pretty much January 6th in Brazil that happened after the election, after fucking Bolsonaro lost. So, I mean, it's the same kind of fucking energy, and I think it's crazy that Trump is trying to just be bitter and use these tariffs as a weapon to punish Brazil. He also could have taken the line of saying, oh, well, I'm going to do these tariffs because of the fact of the Supreme Court in Brazil, I believe, put up fines, another thing we covered, against X, the Everything app. We talked about it recently, over Musk and yada, yada, yada bullshit. But he didn't bring that up because naturally, they're frenemies now, Trump and Musk. So I guess he just decided to not use that, though he could have. But no, he decided to stick to this script of saying, hey, you guys are doing a witch hunt, so I'm going to do tariffs against you. There you go. That's even. That's even Steven, baby. Let's see here. I mean, I'm sure we'll be coming back to the story in the future. There's also obviously so many other countries that are potentially going to be affected by these tariffs and these trade wars. So, when big highlights come up on this shit for this month, coming up, we will, highlight them for sure as they come up. But let's go ahead and move on to our next story from the Associated Press. Freed from ICE detention, Mahmoud Khalil files $20 million claim against Trump administration. On a recent afternoon, Mahmoud Khalil sat in his Manhattan apartment, cradling his 10-week-old son as he thought back to the pre-dawn hours spent pacing a frigid immigration jail in Louisiana, awaiting news of the child's birth in New York. For a moment, the outspoken Palestinian activist found himself uncharacteristically speechless. I cannot describe the pain of that night, Khalil said finally, gazing down as the baby Dean cooed in his arms. This is something I will never forgive. Now, weeks after regaining his freedom, Khalil is seeking restitution. On Thursday, his lawyers filed a claim for $20 million in damages against the Trump administration, alleging Khalil was falsely imprisoned, maliciously persecuted, and smeared as an anti-Semite as the government sought to deport him over his prominent role in campus protests. The filing, a precursor to a lawsuit under the Federal Tort Claims Act, claims or names the Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which is also known as ICE, and State Department. It comes as the deportation case against Khalil, a 30-year-old recent graduate student at Columbia University, continues to wind its way through the immigration court system. I believe now at this point they are trying to get him over what they are saying is a technicality in his green card application. They're saying he did something, like he filed it wrong or he filed it in a way that was disingenuous. So that's why they're trying to deport him now, which is just so far-fetched. That's not why you arrested him and detained him and then, put him in detention. That's not why you did this in the first place. You just pivoted because you needed a reason that you thought would stick. And this is where we are now. Let's see here. I'm just going to keep reading. The goal, Khalil said, is to send a message that he won't be intimidated into silence. They are abusing their power because they think they are untouchable, Khalil said. Unless they feel there is some sort of accountability, it will continue to go unchecked. Khalil said he plans to share any settlement money with others targeted in Trump's failed effort to suppress pro-Palestinian speech. In lieu of a settlement, he would also accept an official apology and changes to the administration's deportation policies. And I like that he adds that latter. He's like, look, I'm willing to extend the olive branch that I know you fucking motherfuckers would never accept, which is just say you're fucking sorry. Say you made a mistake. Say you fucking kidnapped me and made it so that I couldn't see the birth of my own fucking son, and you kept me in a fucking jail cell. Just say you were wrong for that. Just say you fucked up and make some fucking changes like you know you need to do, and I'll throw it away. Crumple that shit up and throw it. But he's like, if not, then pay me the fucking money. And I'm with that. I'm always for, in America, all you really can do is sue and try to get the bag. I mean, that's kind of what we're built on at this point. Now, of course, the Trump administration is saying, no. You are anti-Semite. You spew hate speech, which I guess hate speech is just being pro-Palestinian these days, which is crazy. That's the running narrative in America. Sadly, not just America, kind of in the Western hegemony. I mean, you got motherfuckers in the UK, you got motherfuckers in Germany and France talking like that. But so it fucking goes. But yeah, I am glad that Khalil is at least trying to, keep fighting. He has said that he's not going to stop speaking. But to also just take it to this level of saying, no. I know that they only respond to like people who are going to rise to the occasion. So I'm going to rise to the occasion and I'm going to sue you guys. I'm going to fucking take it to court. And obviously I hope he gets that fucking bag. I hope he fucking secures it. He deserves it. Let's see here. What else did I really want to pull from this specific article? There were some other things I kind of wanted to segue to. They do talk about when he was in lockup, he helped out a lot of, or like as many people as he could who were also in detention. Just because he had some experience working in a British embassy in Beirut. So he's like, yeah, I'm pretty good at bureaucracy. So he's like, I wanted to help them fight their cases and get better understanding because, I mean, shit, like me, you were literally just picked up, thrown in a fucking cell in the dark. And, you got to figure out heads from tails and be like, how am I here? How do I get out of here? You know what I mean? And really, you got to do it in quick time because, I mean, shit, we've seen how this administration moves. They are trying to get you in a courtroom, out of a courtroom, on a plane, out of this country as soon as they fucking can. So yeah. Now, on top of this wasn't the only story I wanted to really cover this week. I mean, sadly, there are so many of these stories that trickle in and out. Since Trump has been in power, since he's been pushing, this deportation shit. There was a story of an Iranian woman. Let's see, Madonna Kashian. She is an Iranian woman who was detained by ICE. Let's see here. Yeah, an Iranian woman who has lived in the United States for almost 5 decades was gardening outside her New Orleans home last month when she was detained by immigration and customs enforcement agents. This week, she was released from ICE detention after the intervention of an unlikely figure, House Majority Leader Steve Scalise. Now, I want to stop right here, and there's a lot of details here. Also, she got here on a student visa in 1978. She's been fighting to, try to stay here and do everything by the book, but she's been thwarted at every turn by the government. And now the government is essentially turning on her and saying, you have to go. Because we're doing shit that is like, oh, maybe potentially bad. So we're going to use that narrative, push that narrative to deport more people, actually. And your time's up. Time for you to go. But because there was such an outpouring from people saying, hey, this is wrong, people were speaking up, like, this is an actual staple of our community. What are you doing taking her away like this? This is wrong. You said you were going to do all the criminals, Trump. What are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. Well, this gets to a guy like Steve Scalise. He's feeling the pressure. So he fucking goes and says, oh, I'll look into this. They should take a second look. They should do something about it. And he at least gets her released. I don't really want to say he does specifically. Also, I need to say, boo this fucking man. Boo this man. Like, at the end of the day, this is a guy who was spearheading that big beautiful bill bullshit. I watched him on a fucking podium lie to people saying, well, we're not gonna fuck with Medicaid. Like, we're not fucking with the social spending like that. That's not what we're doing. The Democrats are lying to you. But what happens? Like, no, this dude is not genuine, bro. This is a guy who is like feeling the fucking pressure, and he's trying to do a little bit of a line straddle. He's trying to say, oh, well, now I'm gonna do the right thing. Bro, you push for shit like this to happen. You know, part of the big beautiful bill, so much more money is getting pumped into ICE. Just that alone. Not to mention, a person like Steve Khalil was pushing for ICE to do the shit that they are doing now any fucking way. So I don't want to fucking hear it. There's not a change of heart here. This guy's just a fucking weasel. Period. Obviously, there's more details here. I just wanted to at least talk about this story. Because no one should be treated like this. Like, period. There's also another story I want to get local as well. From WLWT5, Cincinnati Children's Hospital chaplain detained by ICE, held in jail. A Cincinnati Children's Hospital chaplain is being held at Butler County Jail after being detained by ICE, WLWT has confirmed. Supporters for Ayman Soleiman, a Muslim chaplain for Cincinnati Children's Hospital and imam at Clifton Mosque, say he was detained during a check-in with ICE Wednesday at a Homeland Security office in Blue Ash. And now this shit was so fucked up because he's been trying to get asylum like since 2015. He was granted asylum in 2018. But he was doing a checkup. Like, he was initially going to go for a checkup on that day. And he's like, well, I'm worried. I'm a little concerned because he's been trying to coordinate with his asylum, with actual immigration and customs, like, you know, trying to work with them, like trying to be really face up. And on the day he was supposed to, like, I think do a checkup like on his asylum hearing, that was canceled. But the ICE check-in was not canceled. And so he goes into the ICE check-in and they fucking arrest him. They just fucking disappear his ass. So, it's frustrating. Because at the end of the day, this was all touted. And I've heard the fucking constituents, the motherfuckers who voted for Trump, trying to say, hey, look, dude, I'm just anti-criminals. I'm anti-people coming here illegally. Da-da-da-da-da. Blah, blah, blah. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's why I always say the shit that I'm saying. Like, at the end of the day, I do not care about goddamn borders. I don't. If you want to be here and you are, like, you're not doing anything illegal, what is the problem? What is the fucking problem? Like, what are we doing here? You are trying to lock up just normal fucking people, throw them in a jail cell, and then kick them out of the fucking country. There's nothing noble about this. There's no like, oh, we're trying to protect the people. No, you're not. You're not. You are moving and doing things for political fucking points. That is all this administration is about. That is all these Republicans are about. Not to say that these Democrats are any fucking different. They shift their narrative and they try to become Republican light to be like, oh yeah, you know, we don't want to see, you know, the people who aren't supposed to be here either, rah, rah, rah. They tout the same fucking lines to try to get your attention, try to get your fucking vote. They don't care. So, I know this shit's gonna go on. I know I'm only highlighting in this situation, 3 stories? There's so many that happen and take place every day. So many people who are, once again, that pillar of a community, the staple of the community, the kind of shit that you hear on like a Law and Order episode, you know, but this is like a real person who actually really is a tangible part like of the fabric of a community. They matter to their family, to the people around them, the people who see them every day, and they're just gone, disappeared. And you have to go over the river, through the woods, and do all this unnecessary fighting that you shouldn't have to do just to put pressure on these people, and maybe something happens. Maybe they get out so they can at least fight their case from outside of a fucking jail cell. Because mind you, in each of these situations I mentioned, it's still an ongoing thing, you know? For Soleiman, he's still locked up. Sorry, I'm getting Donna's last name. It's escaping me. Kashanan. You know, she's still going to have to fight a case. She's still going to have to fight to stay here with her family, with her, friends and community. For Khalil, he still has to fight too. There's so many people going through this shit. And they should just be treated like what? Goddamn good Americans. Like, they're doing the best they can, just like everybody else, just like you, just like me. Like, if this shit doesn't bother you, this shit doesn't piss you off, that's strange, right? Like, it should. It fucking should. You know, at the very least, right? Goddamn. So, I felt like I needed to at least kind of bundle all these stories up and at least say something about it, you know? But let's move on. We're talking Houthis from The Guardian. Seafarers from cargo ship attacked by Houthis rescued after 48 hours in water. Four seafarers have been rescued after spending more than 48 hours in the waters of the Red Sea, as the search continued for the remaining crew of the Greek ship Eternity Sea, which was sunk by Houthi militants in an attack that killed at least 4 people. Thursday's rescue brought the number of those saved to 10, 8 Filipino crew, 1 Indian security guard, and 1 Greek guard. 4 members of the 25-member crew, 3 Filipinos and 1 Russian, were killed in the Houthi attacks. 11 people were still missing, 6 of whom are believed to have been kidnapped by the Houthis. Maritime security sources told Reuters. We remain deeply concerned for the welfare of the crew members in the custody of the Houthis, as well as for those currently unaccounted for, said Eli Shafik, the head of intelligence at the UK-based maritime risk management company Vanguard Tech. Their safety and swift release must be a priority for all involved. The Eternity Sea was the second ship sunk by the Houthis this week, breaking a May ceasefire with the U.S. that was predicated on an end to the attacks on vessels in the Red Sea. Houthi forces also sank the Greek-owned Magic Seas on Sunday, but all the crew were rescued. The last time the Houthis attacked a merchant ship was last December, coinciding with the Gaza ceasefire. Let's see here. I kind of scroll ahead. The Houthis first attacked the Eternity Sea on Monday with bombs, sea drones, and rocket-propelled grenades fired from speedboats. Footage released by the Houthis showed a surface-to-surface missile being fired to screams of death to Israel and a large cloud of black smoke billowing from the Eternity Sea. The ship was attacked again on Tuesday night, forcing the crew to jump into the water as Houthi skiffs circled the vessel. On Wednesday, the Houthi military spokesperson Yahya Saree said its navy had rescued members of the ship's crew, given them medical care, and taken them to a safe location. The Houthis previously held the crew of another ship they attacked, the Galaxy Leader, for more than a year, which I feel like that really wasn't talked about that much. I know we covered the initial Galaxy Leader incident, but I really don't recall seeing much in terms of like the fate of the crew after the fact. But that's kind of crazy. But I think that that's kind of maybe by the design on a little bit of the media. You know, this kind of, you could say how the news maybe kind of works, but you know, so it goes. The Houthis have said their attacks are in solidarity with the Palestinians and a means of putting pressure on Israel to stop the war in Gaza, which has killed more than 57,000 people over the past 21 months. The Houthi military leader Abdulmalik al-Houthi said on Thursday that no company could be permitted to transport goods related to Israel through the designated areas at sea. He reiterated that the Houthi ban on navigation He reiterated that a Houthi ban on navigation that the group sees as associated with Israel through the Red Sea, Gulf of Aden, and the Arabian Sea would remain in place. So essentially, things aren't changing. Fuck that last bullshit. Like, at the end of the day, it's back to what it was. If you guys are putting a ship through any of these, like, fucking straits, if we feel and we can trace that this is, like, an Israeli thing, and we feel like it is, we're gonna fucking attack it. That is back where we are at with this shit. It really hasn't stopped. Which also coincides, too, with another thing we covered, which was Israel's attack on fucking Yemen. So, yeah, no, shit's not changed. I mean, obviously, though, condolences to the people who've lost their lives, the people who are being held hostage. That shit fucking sucks. You're just trying to do your job. Granted, I know for me, and this isn't me blaming the victim or anything, I'm saying I'm putting myself in their shoes. You wouldn't catch me on a fucking boat going to any of these fucking areas. That's for fucking sure. I know the score, and I'm not trying to fucking lose my life. I know I need this shit. This is my job. This is my profession. I'm gonna find a new one, okay? Goddamn. But that's just me. That's just how I rock and roll. I mean, I was surprised to, I guess, kind of see this back in a big way. Like, I figured, okay, we covered the Mystic Seas, you know, I'll expect more of this kind of shit happening again. But yeah, no, it's like we never left. It's like we are right back in that shit. So, Also, shout out to The Guardian for not doing the thing that I always tout a lot of legacy media for doing. Scrambling as soon as you fucking can when we're talking about the Houthis or we're talking about Hezbollah and Lebanon or whatever, where you go, oh, Iran backed, blah 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 blah. Like, just talk about these motherfuckers as they are. Like, everyone in this region has their reasons for doing what they're doing. You didn't join the Axis of Resistance because you were like snake charmed by Iran. That's not what fucking happened. At the end of the day, these are conscious nation states making the decisions that they're making. You can say they're right, you can say they're wrong, whatever, but they are making it consciously. I really just don't like that narrative of like the big old boogeyman Iran, like we're doing World War II style fucking like commentary on the subject. I just don't like that. I've not liked that since I've gotten into talking about this shit. So, I guess flowers to the Guardian for that one. Props. Not too much. I don't want to go to their head or anything. But yeah, okay. We've yapped enough about this. Obviously, there's details. But we can go ahead and move along. We have some B news. A little bit of B news this week. As in the buzz variety. So let's go ahead and get into that. From the Associated Press, bees attack French town, leaving 24 injured. And a usual attack by bees in the French town of Aurillac has left 24 people injured, including 3 who were in critical condition but have since improved, according to local authorities. Passersby were stung over a period of about 30 minutes on Sunday morning, according to the prefecture of Cantal in south-central France. Firefighters and medical teams were rushed to the scene to treat the victims, while police set up a security perimeter until the bees stopped their attack. Excuse me. The 3 people in critical condition were evacuated to a local hospital. Pierre Mathonier, the mayor of Aurillac, told French broadcaster BFM TV on Monday that their condition has improved. One of them was a 78-year-old person who had to be resuscitated after cardiorespiratory arrest and is now in stable condition, he said. The 2 others are in good health, he added. According to the mayor, the incident may have been related to Asian hornets threatening a beehive that had been installed on the roof of the terrace of a downtown hotel more than a decade ago. He said that this had likely caused the bees to become aggressive. Mathonier said the beekeeper has removed the beehive and relocated it outside of the town. So that's good. And now we have one more story that is a bit more unfortunate. I'm glad that at least here in this situation, yes, there was a bee attack and a lot of people were hurt, injured, but, everybody lived. The last story we have is a little less fortunate, unfortunately, but still of the bumblebee variety. Also worth mentioning, just for the sake of the thumbnail, in that picture I have at the bottom, it is a Asian hornet eating a normal bee. I don't know what the little bee was, but that just to kind of show the size and scale. Granted, I'm not sure if Asian hornets were exactly involved or not. I don't know, but it was just mentioned. So I figured I'd mention it too and show you what that looked like. Obviously there's a difference between a hornet, between a bee, or like a bumblebee, yellow jacket, whatever. And then what? There's wasps. Ugh. Look, y'all, I'm not the biggest bee guy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't see the bee movie. I'm not a bee enjoyer. I don't know about y'all, but I have been stung a couple times. None of them were pleasant. I didn't enjoy it. Definitely been attacked by a few bees, and they're very territorial. Reciprocity. I'm sorry, I had to say the word one more time. I was like, I know I can say reciprocity. Jesus Christ, it's like such a hard word. It's a mouthful. Anyway, let's go ahead and take our last break. Yeah, I'm trying to say words and shit. I'm gonna blame it on the heat. Heat got me feeling aggressive, just like a bee. All right. Our last story comes from the Independent. Worker trying to repair roof at retirement community dies after attack by a swarm of killer bees. One man is dead and two more are injured after they were attacked by a swarm of bees while working at a retirement home in Arizona. The incident occurred Monday around 9:30 a.m. at a senior living facility in Scottsdale, Arizona. As two of the men were up on a lift attempting to remove stucco from a side column near the roof area, said police. As they scrambled down and away from the insects, the other workers saw that their colleague, Nicholas Lopez Soto, 65, was unconscious. Soto was taken to safety and CPR was performed at the scene. He was rushed to a local hospital by a responding fire crew. Soto was pronounced dead by medical staff just after 10:15 a.m., said Scottsdale police officer Aaron Bolin in a statement. His cause of death remains under investigation. They were just talking about what he was wearing. It's kind of like a very typical outfit for a man at work. T-shirt, jeans, boots. He was stung across all of his body. So I definitely would imagine, like, you know, in the open areas, he was probably the most vulnerable. But he was stung numerous times. They say the average person can safely tolerate 10 stings per body, or 10 stings per pound of body weight, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. So that means about 500 stings can kill a child. The average adult should be able to withstand more than 1,100 stings. So that, you know, just to kind of doing the math, that if he died from bee stings, if you got, like, what's that movie, My Girl? You know, you've seen it. Yeah, it would take that many to get that kind of a result. You know, obviously barring an allergic reaction, of course. But like I was saying about bees being very aggressive, and, you know, for this time of year, they're out, they're very active. And if you're in their area, they are going to attack you, like, very maliciously. They are not going to give a flying fuck. They are willing to put their whole lives on the line. They're willing to put their BUC into this shit. Though I will say, I don't know about you, but up until this day, I was actually listening to Last Pod. That's where I got the first bee story from. But they were kind of going on a rant about, like, how you know, when a bee stings you, they go all out and they put their stinger on you and then you're fucked, right? Well, that's not always the case. I think that might be one of those you know, not so true facts, maybe. I don't know, but obviously they do sting you. I think if the stinger is left in you, yeah, when one stings you, they will leave a scent on your skin that tells everyone else to attack. So I don't know if that's like the stinger being left in you, or if it's just them stinging just leaves that scent. That's so crazy. Animals are so fascinating. That's some, like, if I wanted to say something really dumb, I always wind up making, like, very nerdy comparisons. But, like, that's so fucking Pokemon, bro. Like, you're telling me this Beedrill has an ability? It summons other Beedrills to attack me? This is insane. I just wanted to do the roof. I just needed to fix the stucco. Now I'm getting stucco. Obviously, though, condolences. This sucks. It's definitely a bummer. You know, also, like, do you think about that? Dying on the job? I definitely think about that. Like, I've pondered some scenarios where it's like, what if I fell in or something, and, like, my trash compactor, and, like, someone press a button and I, like, just get, like, mashed Star Wars style or something. That would be, like, a really terrible way to go. Or maybe I, like, pass out from, like, some heat stroke thing because all I really have is, like, a fan and it gets really hot in my trash compactor, and I just, like, pass out, like, behind a buggy, and, like, I go a whole shift and no one notices. Like, I don't know. I think about that shit. I ponder that. But obviously it's very sad to, you know, cover a story like this where someone dies like that. So, you know, trying to add some levity where I can. But you know, just be careful out there. Pun intended. But you know, just be mindful when you're in those situations. I know from me, it's very easy to freak out when you're, like, getting stung, or you see a bunch of bees and they seem very frenzied or whatever. Hell, when I see a bee in general, I freak out, and that's on me, and that's a problem. Like, at the end of the day, they are just animals. More times than not, they are not trying to go out of their way to sting you. That, you know, just be cool, Johnny. Just be cool. You can generally be all right. You're gonna be okay. obviously be mindful of your face and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. But, I don't know. I'm no expert. I'm no beekeeper. But definitely be careful out there this summer. You know what I mean? I don't want you to, get stung or nothing crazy. All right? I need you back for the next episode. But no, that's it. That's all I really have for today. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. Become a newsie today. Also found out, thanks to me my mother, Mother Supreme, I guess you could say Mother Newsy, you can gift Patreon subscriptions. So, I mean, hey, you have a friend on the roster and they aren't hip. What a good way to let them know that, like, this is a good podcast by just saying, hey, I put you on and now you get a shout out every month. There you go. Hey, you get the full regalia. You even go see you can listen to the old episodes. Okay. All right. But no, it really is all good if you subscribe. You don't subscribe in that regard. It's fine. But free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. That's a free way to help out. Just like adding to the follow count. That's good for the algorithm. Subscribing on YouTube. That's a big move. That helps out for free. Following on TikTok, follow on Spotify, follow on Apple Podcasts, whatever platform, that keeps you up with the next episode that's going to come out, that's going to keep you up with anything and everything. You know what I mean? All my thoughts, all my machinations. I don't know. But I really just appreciate you tuning in. I really just appreciate you listening. It's always cool when someone hits me up and they want to talk about something that I talked about on the pod. I love that. That shit makes my day, makes my week, makes my month. Dare I say my goddamn year. Those are the things that really drive me to continue to do this. You know what I mean? Though y'all know, just full disclosure, I would yap to myself. I would just do this shit just for the free, no microphone. I mean, this helps so that I know I'm putting it out to somebody, whether it's sloppy or not, whatever. You know what I mean? It's just my catharsis, whatever. But I really appreciate you just being a part of it. And I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.